too.
Welcome to Plot Off the Press. Today we're joined together with Mr. Nick.
What's up? My ninja.
Cardiar.
Hello.
And Casey Carter.
Hey.
And then I'm Taylor. I will be hosting today because, unfortunately and shamefully, I did not get a chance to watch this movie over the last 3 days, since it's only been 3 days. The movie we're doing today is Natural Born Killers. It is a Oliver Stone directed 1994 movie. IMDb rates it a 7.3 out of 10. I will say backstory here, and Carter said it when we were talking about True Romance. It was a two-parter for Quentin Tarantino. He wrote a story that was just too long. Surprise, surprise. That had to get cut up and made into two movies. So we'll go around the room here. So again, 7.3 out of 10. Casey Kata, are you agreeing with that?
Yeah, mostly. It's a really weird, trippy movie. I felt like I probably should have been on drugs watching it, but I'd watch it again. I gave it a 7.8, and I really like the soundtrack in it as well. It goes from Bob Dylan, Patsy Cline to like Nine Inch Nails, which I was just into. And, y'all know me and violence, so I enjoyed it.
So you know that the soundtrack is all over the place is because I believe this is the first movie that Trent Reznor did the soundtrack for.
Oh, okay.
And he did, since that, he did Lost Highway, the movie Seven. I think him and another guy do it together. I believe he won an Academy Award for doing the Social Networks soundtrack. I mean, if I'm not mistaken. And Trent Reznor went from being the Nine Inch Nails guy into
being like scoring quite a few movies.
Him and like RZA from Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah,
like they are like they're the creme de la creme of like if you want a movie good soundtrack, you talk to those guys.
But more of a modern approach.
Reznor's always been that way though. Even his his albums were always off the wall stuff. Like it's not all just pure music. It would have been good in any kind of movie.
Right. Yeah, but he is all over the place. But
and it was all songs I liked, so that was fun.
Good, which is good.
So what's your rating there, Carter?
Okay, what's the IDM? Is it 7.2?
7.3.
Oh, I was way off. Never mind. I'm sorry. I said
do better.
Instead of Tress. I'm going to give this movie a 5.7.
A 5.7? Wow.
So 5.7.
It seems kind of low.
Well, the movie has got a pretty good pace, but I'll tell you what, the editor of the movie, it's Hank and Brian, whatever their last names are. They're not married or anything, but it's, the editing of this movie is a smooth 9.5. That's really good but what it is that they show a close up of Nick, and then they show Nick covered in blood with like devil horns going while he's still doing his line or whatever. And then that's the same thing with pretty much everybody in the movie. I mean, the editing is really good, but the movie itself, if you take the editing out, it's very boring.
You feel like it maybe erode off the kind of quirkiness of itself.
Yeah, I mean, like you take the cool scenes and where it goes into cartoons or whatever, but for the most part, after that, if you take all that out.
But why would you take it out? That's the way the movie is.
Exactly, but still, I'm just saying. But without that, the movie is really bad. But with it, it's like, I mean, okay, I guess it's kind of cool, but the movie doesn't still go anywhere. Just because sometimes if it looks cool, because, I mean, Final Fantasy, whatever, the spirits within that cartoon movie looked awesome. But the movie itself is extremely boring. It's extremely boring.
I did start watching that on my Fantastic TV. It is nice, but it's not quite as beautiful as you were.
No, it's fucking terrible, but it looks awesome. The same as this movie. So yeah, it's cool looking and it goes back and forth. Again, drugs, watch it on. Awesome. But and I mean like hallucinogenic drugs. Yes, yummy. It was cool. But the movie itself, just sitting there going,
I don't quite know if this is one I would slide a hallucinogen into my system to watch. Maybe like a Molly pill or something. I don't know about a full-on hallucinogen.
well, you're younger than me. I haven't done Molly. I've done ecstasy, but Molly has got like meth in it. I don't.
Maybe that's why.
I don't need all that. I don't need all that.
I just have called Roxy, which is like
Molly's a bit much, guys.
and I had no idea what it was.
Yeah, back in the day, though, when it was
Yeah,
fucking
time.
ecstasy, now that was some
I liked
shit
it.
right there.
Well, see, that's the thing. Y'all's generation, y'all had
Not a fan.
everything else but weed. My generation has the best weed.
Oh, you got the best weed for sure.
But that's-
by far, no
Y'all got the
problem.
best cocaine, hallucinogens, and everything else. But before we get into drug talk, I'm going to have to agree with IMDb's 7.3 rating. I did have a good time watching the movie. I thought the cast was cool. I thought it was, at the very least, interesting, the filmmaking decisions.
Yes.
Enough to keep me in it and willing to see the movie through. Cast is great. Juliette Lewis, Woody Harrelson, a few other people. Of course, it does have that Tarantino flair. It doesn't have quite the same Tarantino flair as the True Romance, but it's there. It's definitely there, a sprinkle of it. But I can't give it more than an 8. So I had to go. I think this is maybe the second or third time one of us has agreed with the IMDb rating, but 7.3 is my rating.
Okay. All right, so let's jump into who do you think's your favorite character? Let's just go backwards. Nicholas or Nikolai.
It would have to be. I don't know. I like Robert Downey Jr. a little bit, just a little bit, even though with the terrible Australian accent.
Terrible.
Right.
But why does he have the Australian accent anyway?
It's just the left fieldness of him is why I like him.
Sure.
But I definitely like the and this might be like a little typical or corny or whatever, but Woody Harrelson and Juliette Lewis, they feel like one character to me, and so I would have to pick
They
them.
go well together.
They
for sure.
do go. Their chemistry is great. Their acting is great, and they did carry the movie, in my opinion. So maybe Woody just a little more than Juliette, but those two, them as a pair is my favorite character.
And y'all mentioned before in the last podcast about couples that like don't look like they go together or whatever.
Mhm.
They look like they go together.
I can agree.
You know, they just fit well. I agree with you on that.
Because they're both white, and that's what we do on this podcast is go white. No, I'm kidding.
I have a different favorite character, but I do agree with you.
But and I will say, just like you mentioned in the last podcast, a lot of enjoying the movie hinges on that first 15, 30 minutes of believing that they're in love. You know what I'm saying? That suspension of disbelief. If you're locked into that, then you can enjoy the movie. If you're not
Because-
fully locked in, then you can't fully enjoy it.
If you didn't listen to the other one that we're talking about, this is a Quentin Tarantino book
Story.
that he wrote, basically a screenplay, and it was broken into 2 movies: True Romance and Natural Born Killers. But both of them are put in the premise that the 2 main characters basically meet each other and fall instantly in love. So that's what they're prefacing there as that, with True Romance, and it's the same with this movie, is that but this one, True Romance, they just kind of do it, whereas this one I did like. It was poetic. Mm-hmm. Hey, you ever heard about fate? That's us right there.
Yeah.
We're fate. No matter what happens, me and you, we're always going to be
And then even when
together.
they get married,
Oh yeah,
he decides that he's the god of his world.
exactly.
So it's happening.
And again, the editing it turns into a cartoon right there, which is really cool. But the movie itself, I just had a lot of problems with it. But okay, so we're gonna go back to best character. We're gonna
Favorite character. So
Favorite character, sir.
whatever. It's got.
I will edit you right out of this
Character's
video.
gonna be
Give
Woody
me a
Harrelson.
white spot in the middle.
You didn't watch the movie, so hush. No, Woody Harrelson, and I do like how you put it with the both of them are, because I go back and forth, but
he definitely edges her out just a little bit as far as acting's concerned.
Because I mean, like aside from Woody before this movie had done Cheers, And then I think White Men Can't Jump, and then this movie came out.
So kind of left field from what he's
It's
doing.
way left field, and I mean, he just thought, "Hey, man, kill whatever you want." I mean, like he's
Oh,
he's vicious in this fucking movie, and we're gonna get to it. But I did recast him. But I mean, he just because but he's really good at this movie, and this is one of the better movies that I think he's ever done. Because then I think after that it was like Indecent Proposal, and then Money Train, and then did a bunch of crap there for a while, and he's got to get back into his Woody Harrelson form, like as Tallahassee and say like Zombieland, even though that's still more fun. But
even in the Hunger Games,
Well,
Yeah, but I mean,
he was awesome in the Hunger Games.
He was.
he was good, but
Yeah,
but also is he was. But
I
again,
feel like that might have been his kind of comeback with.
well, it is just the problem with Hunger Games is that he doesn't have that big of a part. So he is really good in that. He just
That's another one of them legacy actors, small part.
exactly. I can't remember the movie we were talking about the other day about that. It's just like he's great at it, but he's in it. He's like William Hurt. And the movie we were just talking about.
I mean, even Woody Harrelson in No Country for Old Men, he had a little bit more than a small part, but kind of a small part.
Yeah, but he was really good in it. But I mean, like again, like so. But after these movies,
Well,
they did a
was
good
boring.
while. He just didn't have a very big part in a movie that was awesome. He just kind of was like he's in it for 5 minutes, or he's in it the whole movie, and it's just like eh.
Okay.
So he just didn't put it together. But in this movie, Woody Harrelson is the best.
Gotcha. Casey, who's your favorite character?
I've got Tommy Lee Jones
Okay.
only because we never see him in a role like this. He's such a fucking goober, and just like nobody in charge of a prison would act like that. I mean, it's just insane.
Why not?
Everything's like the prisoners are taking over, and you don't even call the police. Like, okay.
Well, no, okay, yeah, but
I mean,
like, but he
is
such a fucking asshole.
Well, that and also kind of a goober as well.
Well, yeah,
And then you see,
it's the hair. It's the hair.
spoiler at the end, you see his head on a pike, and it's like, oh, okay.
That's only the director's cut, by the way. In the original movie, they don't show that.
That's the only one I watched.
Again,
Also,
Yeah, you're just not used to seeing him in a role like this. Usually he's serious, and
he's serious, but he's usually not a giant asshole on purpose. When you say Nick,
So let's bump that over. So let's bump that over to favorite scene then. What's your favorite scene?
on a Nick had
And
something.
I will do my favorite scene right after I say this comment. I just have to say this is the only director's cut that is only 3 more minutes than the original cut. One of the shortest director's cuts ever. So I thought that was worth mentioning. You just said
Superior, though. Superior to the regular movie. Yeah.
You
The
just-
3 minutes is way better.
Now you just said favorite
The
scene, right?
decapitated father, and the head on the pike.
For sure. They made the most of 3 minutes. Now you just said favorite scene, right?
Favorite scene?
Favorite scene. Okay. For me personally, it's going to have to be when they get lost in the desert while they're doing fucking tripping. I can't remember if it was mushrooms or whatever the fuck they're
I
tripping.
think it
on.
was mushroom.
No, they did
They were mushrooms in the car,
and
yeah.
then they did peyote, I believe. Also.
Yeah,
but
and-
they did mushrooms for
They
sure.
do mushrooms. They get lost in the desert, and then they stumble upon the Native American man. And then what I love about that is the Native American man's like, man, this energy's kind of, there's some evil going on here. Like, and so I kind of like that. For me personally, that kind of like touched it back to just like that spiritual shit, like, where he was like, man, there's some evil going on here. And then of course the Natural Born Killers is the movie, so boom, he gets killed. But that's my favorite scene is when they're fucking wandering through the desert, freaking out, and then the Navajo man feeds them, and then it's like, man, I gotta exorcise these demons out of these fools.
And then she gets all upset about it.
Yeah, right.
And then he tells the joke about it's like a woman finds a wounded snake and she nurses the snake back to health,
And the snake.
and the snake bites her, and she lays there dying. She's like, "I nursed you back to health. Why would you bite me?" And he goes,
Because I'm a snake, bitch.
Yeah,
The snake bitch, what you think was going to go on?
Have you ever heard like the story of the scorpion and the frog? Like,
Oh, yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's in their nature.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm with you on that scene.
That's my personal favorite scene.
That plays off into my favorite scene is the drugstore when they're going for the snake bite juice after they get bit by all the
Hell
rattlesnakes. and everything's green.
I forgot about that part. Right after that, they stumble into the fucking pit full of rattlesnakes.
So all our scenes are going together.
Well, right now, is it going
because my favorite one is when Mickey's doing his interview on Super Bowl Sunday.
Well, we'll see down there. You go.
No, I'm saying I'm going ahead.
Yeah, but I mean,
I'm sorry, I thought you were done.
No, that's fine. But no, my scene is that, and what I really love about the scene is that it's very trippy, but it's very coherent the way that they do it. Even though that most of the stuff they do when it's trippy, it's just all over the place. That scene I loved. Like you would like this the way it's everything's green, like it's neon lights everywhere, even in the store and everything, and outside the store. But what I really loved is when she goes outside and she's beating up the cops, and then Scagnetti shows up and he's like, "I'll fucking kill this bitch," and Mickey's like, "Whatever, bitch." He goes, "I'll cut her fucking tits off." He goes, "That's one of my favorite lines." He goes, "What did you get some of those fake titties for?" or whatever he said. Yeah. And he's
everyone knows that's not how it works, right?
Yeah, we know that.
Wait, what?
But I don't think Mickey did in 1994. But basically, no, what you're saying. But yeah, that scene with Robert Downey Jr.
Going, just kind of like yours at the first. And anyway, so Super Bowl Sunday, doing the whole live interview, and then Mickey starts telling the joke, and he just takes
little Johnny.
Yeah, he's like, he's doing this, he's doing that, and everybody's laughing. And then he just takes over fucking everything, just
grabs a shotgun.
Yeah, starts shooting people, and they keep in charge. But then again,
fun,
but also
so stupid.
So stupid, and then so stupid that they're doing it live.
Right.
Well, they weren't shooting the point where that he was doing like that. They were a commercial, but yeah.
Oh, I know. I'm just
saying,
just doing that live was dumb.
Well, yeah, and then
that's interesting how the favorite scenes that time went. Taylor, your favorite scene? Oh wait.
Didn't watch the fucking movie because somebody's jerking off too much.
I can't help it. Okay, I got some new lotion in. It was
shea butter. No,
I completely
understand. It smelled like sandalwood and bergamot. It was a manly smell, and it just I couldn't help myself.
It smells like pine tar. Anyway,
it's a man's man.
Yes.
So anyway, let's talk about casting. Are we changing people out? And I'll start with Carter because he's usually the king of this.
Okay, for this one, I will because I remember the last one we did that I didn't have a recast. Okay, so for Woody Harrelson, and I know that we just did it with Gary Oldman, Woody Harrelson. I think he could have been totally fucking evil the whole fucking time. But yet charming, because he can be, but really at times when he needs to be fucking evil. And then just because she fits the bill, just because it's the same time frame, instead of Juliette Lewis, I could go with Patricia Arquette, but
different universe where they switch roles.
I think that would have been fun. Other than that. He's in the movie also, but instead of Woody Harrelson, I could have seen Robert Downey Jr. doing Mickey.
Okay.
I still think that Gary Oldman is the better choice for that because, but Robert Downey Jr. I mean, if you've seen him in some of his later stuff, not Iron Man, of course, but it's like a
Scanner before that stuff,
like a Scanner Darkly or
a Scanner Darkly.
Man, him and Woody Harrelson are both great in that movie as fucking drug addicts. They were fucking both.
They really.
And so that I think they could.
Hold on, Robert Downey Jr. is good at playing a drug addict. That's crazy.
Playing a drug addict, playing, pretending.
He had source material to pull from.
Right.
Yeah, because he's his father,
Robert Downey the senior.
The senior. Anyway, that's okay. Jesus, I'm sorry.
My one request.
I'm sorry.
I don't mean to jump in, but
you say your request?
My request.
I like that.
My recast. I only had one, and like I said, that's kind of my approach now. I'm going to do one recast every time. That's kind of left field. I think I would go instead of Tom Sizemore as Jack Scagnetti. I would go Nick Nolte.
Okay, I can say
that's my one. That was actually a more serious choice, but that's my one recast. Other than that, both these movies, True Romance and Natural Born Killers, that's the one thing that fucking Tarantino or any of his like story, anything that he has to do with, That's the one thing that he damn near has 100% on lock is the fucking casting and the choices for casting.
Yeah.
It's hard to replace, or you know what I'm saying? That's the one thing he's always had an eye for. Like I said, above all, story, plot, whatever, the fucking characters. He always, whatever the characters are, is always a good choice.
And again, I think in this movie that he didn't have, the choice of casting these characters in this movie because he still didn't direct them.
Right.
But I mean, for whatever reason, this is the same movie cut in half.
Mm-hmm.
And whoever casted them from like Miramax or whatever, did a solid job with this. Because then after that, who knew of Samuel L. Jackson besides from Coming to America, when he's the guy that tries to rob the store, or Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing, where he plays the radio DJ. Samuel L. Jackson wasn't shit. He's in Pulp Fiction. He's the biggest star in the fucking universe.
Right.
John Travolta wasn't shit anymore. He didn't look.
He fell off, and then that shit revived his career.
Yeah, boom. He did Broken Arrow. He's back doing blockbuster movies. Broken Arrow.
Are you ready for plot holes? Because I got a couple.
Okay, sorry. I just didn't.
No, hold on. Casey, did you have a recap?
I did not.
Okay.
Well,
So let's talk about director for a minute. It is Oliver Stone.
I don't know too much about
him. I haven't really seen other things he's done. We've talked a little bit about the writing.
Did you see Platoon, JFK, El Silverado,
Salvador.
James Caan.
Sunday.
Not James Caan. James Woods.
JFK, Wall Street.
Any Given Sunday.
Okay, he's got a few. Any Given Sunday.
It's Oliver Stone. He's huge.
I mean, I feel like he's kind of one of those. I don't know too much about him, so I can't speak fully on my opinion. But just looking at his filmography, he's kind of like an in between. Because like Platoon is a fucking classic. That's the one with Willem Dafoe. That's
Charlie
classic. Wall Street. That's a good one.
Sure.
But then like his newer stuff, World Trade Center.
He fell off about 1999.
I like that movie.
Fell off about 1999, but mid 80s until 1999, he was the shit. I mean,
he wrote Scarface.
I don't really agree with that.
You guys don't remember this though, but when this movie, Natural Born Killers, came out, people were protesting because it was this ultra-violent.
Right now, I was reading there was like a few copycat crimes that copied the crimes from the movie.
Exactly.
And it did have a lot of pushback.
Yeah, it was right up there with when the Stanley Kubrick did Clockwork Orange.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And it's about ultra violence, and rape. It was like the tagline for the movie, and people lost their ever-loving minds about this. And
that was the whole thing about the movie is people are in love with violence and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And that was like the whole fucking point.
Yeah, well, people go, I don't like this movie, even though I haven't seen it. It's the same movie like the movie Dogma. I mean, people are, Catholic people are like, fuck this movie. And it's like, if you watch the first 30 seconds of the movie, it says, hey, Ben, I'm Catholic and I really love being Catholic. But, hey, if you have a sense of humor, you're made in God's image, God has a sense of humor. Mm-hmm. And so we're just having some fun. And that's but no one watched that part of the movie. They just went, how dare you make fun of, Catholicism, and it's like that. Well, you're missing the point.
Right.
No, and the same with this movie is like, it's ultra violence, but
I think they romanticize the violence definitely with the plot of them two, like being, like in a way, metaphorically of Woody Harrelson and Juliette Lewis being a couple. They kind of romanticize the violence, but that kind of got twisted along the way just because folks forget, man. If it's Tarantino, motherfuckers are going to be getting killed. Motherfuckers are going to be saying dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
instead of saying motherfuckers, they say motherfuckers.
Yeah, right. And so, like, I feel like maybe it gets taken a little too seriously, but the romanticization of the violence, like, but that adds to it too. You know what I mean? That adds to the experience of the movie.
Romanticization.
Well,
Merriam-Webster, that shit.
Damn right. But again, if you
for those of you who don't know, that's a dictionary.
If you don't like it, fuck you then. Don't watch it.
Okay, I won't.
Because you didn't. So you get 0
All right,
stars.
we are getting off on a tangent here. I do want to bring us back a little bit. So let's jump into plot holes. And Casey was kind of eager for this earlier.
Well, I have three, and I'll go in order, I think, how the movie goes. So in the beginning, they're in the diner, and he orders a key lime pie. In what universe is that a fucking key lime pie? It is gosh damn green Jello with some Cool-Whip on top.
I can't even fucking argue with that.
I was looking at my fucking
Wait. Say that again.
Cool-Whip.
Cool-Whip.
Cool-Whip. You know, like
Good Brian and Smoking Brian. I don't hear it. Cool-Whip.
Cool-Whip.
What's up, Brian?
That
voice
voice
I was trying, okay. But yeah, it really was. It was green Jello. It's fucking terrible. And I really did. I think I could pause the movie, and I said, what the fuck is that?
No,
no way. That's gosh damn.
That's a good fucking point. It is not key lime pie. I'm not.
And then
it's Jello on a pie crust, but okay.
Ugh, gross.
It is.
It's like, Taylor, I didn't watch it, but it's like bright green fucking Jello.
It's green Jello. It's green Jello.
She's not exaggerating.
It's green Jello on a pie crust.
I'll look up the scenes. I'll send you a screenshot. It's fucking terrible. And then my other two are... I'll make you one. Just kidding. I don't make anything. Just saying.
She only makes poops. That's it.
Oh, stop it.
Stop it.
Girls don't poop.
Oh, you're right. I forgot about that.
So then my other two were like prison things.
Oh,
so
here we go. Back to pooping.
So why is she the only female in an all-male prison? Why?
Fair fucking point.
It's an all-guy prison, and he's like, take me to her. And it's like, hold on. The prisons are separate.
Casey came with the ammo today. Heard.
Damn right.
And I said all this while we're watching it. All right, I got one more from the prison.
That's the reason why I didn't put it down, because it's like, well, get me on that one. That is good.
All right, one more. When he's about to do his interview, they give him fucking clippers to do his hair. Who gives a prisoner goddamn clippers?
That's a mistake.
Yeah, no,
he doesn't use it for any nefarious.
But he's a natural born killer. He could have come out ching ching yeah with a clipper.
Ching ching yeah ching ching.
I go ching ching.
He would have been like jugular ching ching.
Natural born killer, bitch, and then drop the clipper on him, and he's out.
And then just.
All right, those are mine because I thought they were the most annoying ones.
Carter.
Oh man, there's
5.8.
My bad.
All right. First off,
You look stressed.
Stress. No, it's
Nick,
really,
that's just how he looks.
it's just a really bad movie. I mean, like he goes for Grand Theft Auto, nothing.
Just leave it.
Just for Grand Theft Auto, prison, and then he met her for like 2 seconds, and then she's just like jerking him off like while he's waiting to get out of fucking prison. Then he escapes on just some fictitious horseback tornado scene. Which why just couldn't get out of jail? They burn her mom for no reason. It's just
not for no reason. She let her get abused by her father for I don't know how many years.
Okay.
There's no that.
Yeah, you're right. I misspoke for no reason, but at the same time, I was
Just
like,
saying.
Because they, I don't know. There's a lot of dumb shit in this fucking movie. Even going, the key lime pie. He's there and she's gonna dance, and then like some dude comes in and he's trying to beer bottle fuck her, dance with her. Mickey just lets her do it, and then she beats the shit out of him, and he kills the other two guys. Which, by the way, one of the guys is the coach from Major League, and he's like, I don't know what you're doing,
Well, hey, I'm going to comment on that one because one, girls like to dance. It just is what it is.
Okay.
And secondly, every time girls dance,
I do want to cut a beer bottle fucker.
Well, I mean, not
specifically beer.
Yeah,
definitely get in her area.
Like how many clubs have I been to, and some guy tries to, like, you're just dancing with your girlfriend.
You get a picture right here, good.
Just do like this, and some guy comes behind you, and you're like, no, motherfucker.
Okay. Here we go. We're getting off topic here, but guess what? She's dancing at Giddy's, and all she has to do is go.
There's only two people at fucking Giddy's. Why wouldn't you dance?
Well, he's obviously going.
She was dancing
I'm
before they walked in.
And again, all she has to do is go, "Hey man, get away from me." I know. She goes, let him get too close, and he gets a little freaky, and then she has to fucking kill him.
Maybe in the 90s you could dance at a Denny's, but if you're dancing at a Denny's, I'm not fucking with you.
If you ever see me
weird. It's weird.
If you ever
9
see me
o'clock
at
in
a
the
Denny's, fucking kill me.
9 o'clock in the morning.
Just saying.
All right. So, but I mean, like,
An alien has taken over my body.
all right.
You see
So,
Katie Carter and fucking
again, at the end, they just finally go, you know what? We're done with killing. After we kill fucking Robert Downey Jr. for no reason. There's that. The whole prison sequence is fucking.
Well, I was kind of ready to kill him at the end.
Well, sure, I guess you could, but I mean, like, how they escaped from prison, or could have got close to escaping from prison. Like, they leave him alone in the room, and he kills four of the guys with shotguns without them, and then
And it seemed like the shotgun had a lot of bullets.
it had a lot of bullets. It just,
Yeah.
the movie itself,
Let me jump
it's a
in.
bad movie, but I mean, like, I did like, real quick,
You're good.
don't forget about me, because we're fate.
Okay.
How the whole world's closing their mouth. That's the angels, Mick. I mean, like, I did like that part.
Yeah.
I like the core part of that, like I did like True Romance. But other than that, the movie's stupid.
Taylor, are you asleep yet? No, I was fine. I'll jump right in for my plot holes. I only really have one plot hole. I mean, the whole movie could fucking. There's the camera. You gotta put it.
Yeah, I know. I see that. But
Really, the whole plot, like the whole movie, is a fucking plot hole in and of itself. But me personally, is how the fuck did they escape all the way at the end and then end up living like their regular life? But at the same time, in the same sentiment, I do appreciate a movie where the villain wins. I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
I hear that.
Even though it's a plot hole, I do appreciate that. So that's really only my main plot hole.
Well, and how disturbing that they're leaving there to go start a family,
Right.
and they have like 3 kids. That's very disturbing.
Very disturbing. So definitely like that whole. I mean, y'all basically just covered the whole fucking movie as a plot hole.
Sorry.
But no, you're fine. So
It's a fun movie.
So I will wrap it up as this, or for my best quote. Make sure you got your best quote.
I'm ready.
Mickey, I realized my true calling in life. Robert Downey Jr. What's that? Shit, man. I'm a natural born killer. I love it when a movie says their own name.
and that's fucking. That's fucking.
That's what he says during sex too.
That's balls right there.
I'm a natural born kid.
Like,
No, like say my name.
Damn.
Oh.
No, that's balls though.
And
Seriously,
nuts.
that's.
Do you have a quote, or you already said your quote?
what's your? Oh yeah, was that?
Mickey and Mallory Locks were on there fucking.
All right, so you're good.
What's your best quote? And,
Well,
and you know I want to hear your best dress too. If you got that.
No one was best dressed. They were all work.
What's it?
Because I did think about it, and I was like, there's not one. The guys with those stupid ass ties and like, ugh.
Both movies had issues with fashion.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
one of it.
Yeah. No, but
But it was the 90s
it's
too,
like,
so.
it's the angels, Mickey. They're coming in. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
You know, and then sweet.
Do you
Yeah.
do you have a favorite quote?
Oh, I've got 2. So I've got a serious one and a fun one.
Okay.
So the serious one for me is you can't hide from your shadow, which is like, you can't hide from yourself. You are who you are, and like I get it, and I like that. So that was my serious one. And then my fun one was when they're in the hotel room and Mallory and Mickey are kind of going at it, and then you see the girl in the corner who's like tied up, and she's like, "Why are you looking at her? You want to fuck her? Fine." And she walks off. She goes to like get gas in the car, supposedly. She starts hitting it off with the guy that's pumping the gas,
Yep.
and he ends up going down on her.
Mm-hmm.
And she throws him off, and she said, "That is the worst fucking head I've had in my life. Next time, don't be so eager." And then she fucking kills him.
And she goes,
That's gay.
I love it.
gangster.
It's gangster, and I just love it. And when it happened, I just started laughing. I was like, "That's hilarious. That's something like a guy would do." And
Right.
it's refreshing seeing a woman do something like that.
refreshing seeing a woman do it like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Love it.
so,
Hold on.
so wrapping the movie up, though, do we have some closing comments?
I think that pretty much was our closing comment.
I think so.
I got something for you, Taylor, real quick. 20 words or less. 20 words or less from the podcast you just listened to and hosted. What the fuck would you give the summary of this movie? Give me a 20-word summary of this movie based off our podcast.
And would you watch it?
I mean, I'm definitely going to have to go watch it just to understand what I was listening to. But I got to be honest, from what I'm hearing, the plot sounds really fucking weird.
And you're out of words. And so, good job. Way to go.
And thank you for joining Plot Off the
You're out of words. I mean, you want to think about it?
What the fuck am I supposed to say? 20 words or less. Okay.
Like
the movie
read the
was
wiki,
weird.
like log line of like Woody Harrelson, Juliette Lewis go on a killing spree. Like, what would your 20-word
Our
description
plot
be?
synopsis for this movie, which is good.
I would like to watch it just to see the girl get someone go down on her at the gas station.
Boom, there you go. And guess what? When
And she's sitting on top of a car. You'd love
when
that.
he goes down on her, he doesn't even talk about the little pieces of toilet paper that are in her stash.
Oh my god!
Oh my
Yes,
god.
exactly, because that's what happens with you fucking gross-ass girls. You fucking, all your pee and your fucking toilet paper snatch.
I've been a victim of the toilet
And Sean's
paper.
dicks are always so clean.
Well,
Okay, but you know what, guys? At some point, they put their mouth on our sweaty penis.
no, we're not done. We're talking about toilet paper tongue right now.
Stop. Edit this out for the love of God.
Don't edit it.
No, keep it.
My mother listens to this.
Who cares about your mother?
At some point, they do put their mouths on our sweaty ass penis. So it's like, it evens out in the end.
Taylor,
Does it, Taylor? Does it?
Taylor, Tyler.
take us away, Taylor.
All right. Thank you for joining us today on Plot Off the Press. Join us again next week. We are on YouTube now. I have actually just uploaded True Romance from earlier today. It's uploaded and it's on YouTube. Fuck editing. I'm not going to do that anymore. You guys get to see everything. I do have some behind the scenes coming out soon, hopefully. I've been working on some editing. Carter's a little racist, so it took a little time to edit out.
Oh, good Lord. Hey, it's my partner. My partner.
Well, thank you for joining us on Instagram. We are plot.off.thepress or the.press.
Yeah,
and then from there,
Press. There we go.
yeah, and then from there you can find us on YouTube under Plot Off the Press. We have 2 subscribers, so I'm pretty sure that's me and Casey. So if you guys can please go subscribe. Do some likes and stuff. If we get like a bajillion of them, we'll be able to quit our jobs.
And that's
But thank you for joining us, and we'll talk to you next week.
Bye, guys.
With
Don't legally erase it.
with a